Alright, welcome back to the channel. Max Tornow here, sitting here with one of our clients, Olivier Van Der Weijde. Had to practice pronouncing that. And he literally made 18,000 euros over the last 8 weeks with our help. Absolutely crushing it. And it's my last day in Zurich, and we thought, let's get together. Let's kind of talk about his story, maybe to inspire you to see what's possible and how it is possible. So that being said, let's get started.
Have you ever wondered whether there's more to life than a boring dead-end 9-to-5 job? Have you ever dreamed about breaking free, traveling the world, making good money, and just enjoying life? No more office dress code, no morning commute, no boss. This channel is for you, so here's to your freedom.
Olivier, so what exactly are you offering people?
So right now what I offer is I basically help busy professionals and entrepreneurs build muscle, lose body fat, and of course, look better naked.
Look better naked, nice. I remember we had a client who had a similar way of phrasing it.
Yeah.
And here's the cool thing. We've had many people in this niche making similar amounts of money. We have people making 10K, 20K, and so on and so forth. Many of them are now our advanced clients in the process of being scaled up to 30 and 50K. And so if you're watching this and you're like, wait a minute, another fitness guy doing this? Yeah, because abundance, as you can see, it works, right? Just because there's so-and-so doing this already and so-and-so influencer having millions of followers already, and you have a guy like him, complete nobody really knows who you are, you're not a famous person, but you're banking your 18K in 8 weeks, and that's easy peasy lemon squeezy. So, you told me a little bit off camera, and I said, let's wait for it for the video, because it's a really interesting backstory. So you actually lost your job due to the pandemic crisis. Can you talk about that a little bit?
For sure. So basically when I started everything, it was like I first had a job in a gym. I did social media, and I was basically doing that every day, just doing my best. And you're like, okay, if I do this good, then I can pay my rent. I can of course get everything sorted. But the biggest letdown was, of course, with this whole COVID thing starting, is that I essentially just lost my job within the first 2 weeks, and how do I pay my rent now? And unfortunately, it kind of escalated to the point where I had to do construction.
Yeah.
So I was actually working a construction job, going from social media down to that as well.
Okay, so you lost your job as a social media, what was it? Like an organized manager? Okay. Yeah. And then you lost that job, and then you had to go into construction just to kind of keep yourself afloat.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then and then your business started taking off?
Yep, precisely. And
good ending, basically.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, nice. Fantastic, that's interesting. So yeah, we've seen this so much, and I've been literally saying this on this very channel. First off, I said, be careful, there's a new crisis gonna come, and the safest way to do anything from that crisis onwards, not even during that crisis, but from the crisis onwards, is gonna be, number one, if you're your own boss. If you're your own boss, you can't get fired. Yeah. And number two, if you work online, because offline is as you can see, it's too risky. Mm-hmm. Some company closes, some shop closes, wherever you work it can close down. If you do, unless they turn the internet off, you're gonna have a much better time. And if they do turn the internet off, we're gonna have bigger problems. Yeah. And it's interesting because I've always said that, and here you are, you did actually lose your job. Just like I said, jobs are not as safe anymore. Yep. Fortunately enough, by the time you lost your job, you actually were in our program already, started executing, and due to the fact that everybody's at home using online, you 100%. Crushed it. So in fact, to kind of give a little bit of details, so basically in May, you made 5K euros, right? And then and then June you made 13K euros, or 12 and a half.
12.3, yeah.
12.3, okay, so he made 17.3K, not 18K, sorry about that. I gotta be transparent. But still good, still absolutely fantastically done. How did you discover your skill with the fitness thing?
Good question. I think it's something that I always had, but I didn't know how to leverage. Okay. So I always was coaching people one way or another. People were like, oh, I can't eat this thing, I can't eat that thing. I was like, actually you can, but you gotta take it from a different approach. Yeah. So I always had coaching within me, but I just never knew how to do it properly. And I first thought that I had to do YouTube videos, so I was putting out some content guys,
the classical way to
eat this stuff, don't eat that stuff. And after some point in time, just I knew that I wanted to do it, but what I was doing was the complete wrong approach.
Yeah, I do remember when you came to us, we were instantly, forget the YouTube thing, don't do that yet. We have some advanced clients that are now doing YouTube with our help, but you don't need this to get your first 10K, stop that, and we just focused on the right things. And I love also that you said you always kind of had coaching within you. that's something that I felt within me as well. That I was always like, whenever I would learn something, I would instantly like teach it my friends and my family, and like I would always be that person that would like to pass on at least some of the knowledge that I found, you know. And that was the case from my first business, the dating advice business. I was always the guy who started helping his friends and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then obviously once I started building a business, I just randomly started giving out business advice. And it's cool that you kind of had the same. You said that was within you, and then you found a way to monetize that.
Yep.
How about the fitness part? How did you learn that yourself? Did you go to a school to do that, or did you just acquire the knowledge yourself?
Yeah, good question. So for me, it was pretty much that. Well, I had a few personal trainers in the past myself, actually. I went to a nutritionist, a dietitian.
Yeah.
I just noticed that their way of working wasn't optimal. And that kind of made me, spurred on the interest of like, okay, is there a better way to do this? So I started researching myself, pretty much self-learning most things.
Huh.
And once I started applying that for myself, that's when things really came together. I'm like, oh, there's a better way of doing this.
Nice.
And for me to find information, I trained, transform my own body, my own life, and I was so much more confident as a result of that.
Yeah.
And for me to experience that, I'm like, yo, other people have to experience this.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much from going from personal trainers, dietitians to now then, self-learning and self-teaching. And of course, this teaching also by kind of or learning by teaching actually.
Yeah. Sounds interesting. Sounds cool. Now, if I look at you here, you don't seem like this crazy 8-pack, huge gains kind of guy. I'm looking at you. Let me try to find your Instagram real quick. If you look like that on Instagram, because I haven't checked it fully yet. How do you spell your Instagram? Olivier.
IVR.
Yeah.
And then underscore and then Weijde.
There you go. Okay.
WEIJ.
There you go. So even there, you don't. Yeah, you look pretty good body wise, but you're not like
something insane, no.
Exactly, and that's always an interesting part to kind of talk about, because most people think like, oh, if I want to teach fitness, I got to be this like perfectly Adonis shaped kind of guy. But you strike me as a fit guy for sure, but not this like incredibly fit guy, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think that was an issue at any point, or do you think it was just in your brain, or how did you deal with that?
Yeah, good point. So basically, I always thought that I have to get super shredded, look super good in order to, get clients.
Yeah.
And the truth is that a lot of people are not even looking for that. They don't want to get like crazy huge, look like Mr. Olympia. And I mean, that's the biggest thing, is that the moment you just have like a good physique, that you look fit enough, right?
Yeah.
That people are like, oh, that's admirable. And that's good. And there's not even anything crazy, just people, like most people who need that help, first of all, are not even working out. They're not even thinking about for 1 second about nutrition.
Yeah.
So the moment you can take them from where they are right then to pretty much where I am right now, it's not only it's easier, but it's also just more sustainable, and it shows it pretty much that anyone can do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is something that we teach a lot, especially in these type of niches. Like, hey, people need someone to resonate with, right?
Yep.
If you're like you said, like Mr. Olympia, hugely shredded, like the average person that could be your client, there's such a discrepancy between them, they wouldn't even get it.
100%.
Whereas if you're like a guy who's pretty fit, where some potential client can see themselves reaching this as well, it makes much more sense, right?
Yep.
I figured this out too with my very first business. Again, like another great lesson that I got from there was, I always also thought I gotta be perfect. Oh, I gotta be the perfectly charismatic person that just attracts everybody just instantly, right? And I was thriving towards that. But of course, I'm a human being. I have bad days, I feel insecure sometimes, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And once I started kind of communicating that openly, like, hey, I'm not perfect, I can't do things perfectly, I actually thought the resonance would go down and less people want to work with me, but surprisingly, it went up. People
100%.
said, oh, I love the fact that you're so open about this and stuff like that. And yeah, it's exactly the same when you're building an online coaching business. Okay, so you told me earlier you're from Amsterdam, right?
Yeah.
Good. And this is the funny part, you don't even know that. So we actually interviewed another client yesterday, and as we were walking back, I ran into you, and you're like, hey Max, I'm your client, Oliver. And I'm like, yeah, Oliver. Because I remember your name, but
Yeah.
I couldn't compare it to the face. And you're like, I just made 10K last month. I'm like, this is fantastic. This is fantastic. So we had the coaches, reach out to you, see all the closes that you've made, so that you're not just saying it, obviously you never know.
Yeah.
And it was funny. And you told me you just came to Zurich to hang out with your friends or something like that?
Yep, exactly. We actually booked it, I think last week, spontaneously. I'm like, I'm coming to Zurich.
I love that. And where's your friend right now?
He's actually at home. He's working his 9-to-5 job. So
This keeps getting
it's
better.
pretty enjoyable to be here right now. Let's put it that way.
No, it's nice. How does your everyday life look like in general?
So pretty much, well, I wake up at like 10, 11 sometimes, and I just, do my little bit of morning routine. I work out first, take care of myself, and then, casually I'll start with, some DMs, like I'll write some people, I'll just like do some content, and of course the rest of the day is just about, having some sales calls, getting some new clients, and of course, coaching, which is my favorite part.
Yeah.
And I always coach it pretty much at night. That's like my preference, is that I'm a night person.
Ah, okay,
And
okay.
Before I was working like really like early morning shifts, and I'd be so groggy. I have to take so much coffee just to get by.
Yeah.
But now, of course, everything at night it's my timing, so it's perfect.
Nice. I used to have that too. I used to have trouble falling asleep when I knew I had to get up the next morning.
Yep.
And and then you stress more, which means you can sleep less. Absolutely screws me over.
Yeah.
I always joke around. That's like 90% of the reasons why I built a business, so I can goddamn sleep in the mornings.
Yeah.
Like it
Accurate.
feels so much better. I told you earlier, I'm 30 now, so like this whole sleep thing and like health is getting really, really important for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a wonderful thing. So I think about the coaching part. A lot of people will ask that how much time. Because they're always like, okay, if I become an online coach, I make all this money, nice and well, but I do have to coach all these people. Isn't that a lot of time that you're sitting there coaching?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's like talking with your friends almost. Is that you find someone who needs that help. So first of all, like, what kind of work is it? You're not like slaving away to coach them.
Yeah.
That's number one. And secondly, it's like the time commitment. I would say maximum of like probably 6 hours per week. That's just like if I have maximum, like everyone books those calls and everyone wants to like talk with me.
Yeah, yeah.
But I would say in the future, I'm probably gonna dial that back a bit. Just do a bit more of a group setting, and then the time commitment is minimal.
Yeah, that's a great thing. A couple of things you mentioned here. Number one, obviously, we teach you how to position yourself properly so you get good clients.
Yeah.
Not clients that get on your nerves, but like actually clients that execute, that implement things. Same what we're doing, right? We sift out. I think the last time I checked, it was like around 90% of the people that want to be learning from us, we sift them out.
Yeah.
Even if they have the money. I've more than once I've gotten an angry DM by someone who said, I had 10,000 euros ready to invest them in you, and you're just like declining me. And I'm like, yeah, I have the freedom to say no,
Yep.
And so that's a good thing. And the other thing is also, yeah, like you said, like these people are busy executing. It's not like they're on your face all day.
100%.
No, like they're busy executing. And it's a wonderful thing to do. And obviously, the third thing is we always teach our clients, that are our beginner clients, to start with one-on-one, and then slowly but steadily we help them transition into group coaching, which has a lot of advantages, because there's the group dynamic in there's the energy of the group, then there's the being held accountable in front of a group of people. It's a much easier way to do things, and it's obviously also much better for the client. And this is where we're going to help you as well. Awesome. In the next couple days, weeks, months to come. And so far so good. Obviously crushing it. Anything else you want to mention?
I would say probably the biggest thing I got from it as well is not only do you get advice from coaches who tell you exactly what to do and how to do it.
You mean in our program, or?
Yeah. Okay. Like all the guesswork is out of it, which is the biggest benefit, of course, because I feel like a lot of people are driving with their handbrakes on if they try to do it on their own.
Yeah.
And the moment you pull those handbrakes off, you just notice that things can go a lot faster. I think if I would have stayed to making YouTube videos, that would have taken me probably another good 5-6 years.
Yeah, that's, like I said, like I always say, money first, then brand. The brand part can come later. You can easily make your first 10K a month before having YouTube or anything like that.
Yeah.
And what do you think was the biggest point for you to learn from our help? Like, is there one specific point where you were like, that's the one that I was lacking?
Yeah, I think just creating the business itself.
Yeah.
Before I was just a dude trying to advertise.
Yeah.
Something, but I didn't know what I was even advertising.
The classics, yeah.
So it was pretty much, I was an empty shell, and it was just filling up that shell of like, okay, look, this is how you do the coaching, this is how you like find these good clients, this is how you manage it. Just having the whole structure in place of like what to do and how to do it, and removing all that guesswork of like, okay, do I do this first or that, and just clarifying that up a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Always nice to hear. Always nice to get a little bit of nice words.
Yeah.
What's the plan now for you? You gonna fly back to Amsterdam, or?
I'm actually gonna go to Greece after this.
Oh, no way.
To go do some sailing.
When? Like tomorrow, or when you're flying?
Like in about, I think, a week's time.
Damn.
And then afterwards, I'm gonna go to Sweden. So that's pretty good.
Dude, you're crushing it, man. You're traveling more than me at this stage. Dude, how's the traveling to Greece? There's no restrictions, nothing right now?
I don't think so. It's like I mean, I'm flying again, so it's always a bit like sketchy in that sense. But for the rest, it's fine. I'm on a sailing boat for the whole week, so
Damn.
it's not like I have to like interact with a lot of people.
You're gonna sail alone or with the crew, or how does that work?
I'm actually with my family, so I'm bringing them along as well. So that's
The
super
Van Der
nice.
Weijdes?
The Van Der Weijdes, yeah.
Yeah, nice. All right. That sounds cool. Hell yeah. I didn't know you're sailing. I don't know how to sail.
Oh no?
Do you have like the skipper license or something?
Yeah, dude.
Really?
Full captain here.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Well, do you have internet on the sailboat?
Yeah, most likely. I'm just gonna do all my coaching calls on the boat as well. So
That's amazing, man.
I'm just gonna make all my clients very jealous of like, yo guys, how's
You're like-
life on the boat right now?
You're like this, like, hey, what's up, guys? I'm on the boat, in the waves. Yeah. That's incredible. Well, crushing it, man. Keep it up. One last word of advice as we give that out everybody. When you come to here, you're on the interview, you're on the channel, right? We give you props. We're like, look at Oliver, he's doing great, and so on and so forth. Keep pushing from now on, right? Don't start to lean back and like, I'm great, I managed it, and then there's a dip. Like every time we have that, the client gets a little bit of a dip, and then we get them back on track, and we keep pushing them, and then they get back up.
Awesome.
So don't get into that dip. All right. Other than that. When you get inspired by Olivier's amazing results here and by his sailing story. I mean, such a cool story. Getting fired, getting laid off from your job, crushing it with their own business, traveling the world now, or at least through Europe right now, which is absolutely incredible. So when you get inspired by that, book a free consulting call with us, and we'll help you get started with your own freedom business as an online coach or as an online service provider as well. I'm going to put a link down in the description below, or a link that appears somewhere here right now. It always depends. And all you have to do is you click on that link. The link brings you to a page. There's some more information for you on how to get started on that page, so feel free to read through that. And at the bottom of the page, there's a 2-minute application. Again, it takes around 2 minutes to fill it out. And then you can book the exact date and time where you want us to call you. That's how you got started, right?
Yep.
You just went ahead and booked the free consulting call?
100%.
Do you remember watching it on YouTube or Instagram or?
I think I started on Instagram first. And I kind of scrolled through, saw some things. I'm like, all right, this is it. This sounds really good.
Nice. Well, who did you have your call with? Do you remember?
Simon.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Right, one of our experts.
Yeah.
Right? Good stuff. So like I said, that's how he got started. That's how you can get started. The only catch is obviously we can only do so many calls a day because we're busy. But if the link still works, it means we still have a spot open for you. So basically, if you already have a skill and you want to learn how to monetize it, right? Similar to you had that skill before. You want to learn how to monetize it. That call is for you. But oftentimes we get clients that just say they like the idea of being free. They like the idea of being their own boss, but they have no idea what it is they could offer people. They're confused a little bit. They feel a little lost. If that is you, that call is for you as well. We can analyze your strengths. We can tell you what model fits well to you. We know the market, and so it's easy peasy, right? So again, link down in the description below. Book that call. Let's talk soon. Thank you very much. Thank you for having the time. I appreciate that.
No worries.
And talk soon.
With the help of this wonderful program, the coaches, I was able to overcome a blockage that I had within. And then as I overcame it, an hour later, I closed my first client. Then 12 hours later, my second client. And half hour later, my third client. 3 clients in less than 24 hours. But in one day, I made more than 3 months in my job. I can't express enough the bliss that I'm in and the gratitude that I feel.